You talked about losing your mom.
Yeah.
Do you miss her?
Yeah, I mean, I still connect to her through music. She was a young prodigy piano player in Vienna, and she survived the concentration camp and then died in a car accident here in the U.S. The way
What
people do.
what music makes you think of her? Is there a song that connects you?
Well, she was in Vienna, so she had the whole Viennese music thing going, um, which is this, incredible school of absolute skill and romance bundled together, and wonderful on the piano. Especially I learned to play the some of the Beethoven sonatas for her, and I played them in this exaggerated drippy way I remember when I was a kid. And
Exaggerating meaning
like,
too full of emotion.
yeah, like just like just like
It's not the only way to play Beethoven. I mean, I didn't know there's any other way.
that's a reasonable question. I mean, the fashion these days is to be slightly Apollonian with even with Beethoven, but one imagines that actual Beethoven playing might have been different. I don't know. I I've gotten to play a few instruments he played and tried to see if I could feel anything about how it might have been for him. I don't know really.
I was always against the clinical precision of classical music. I thought a great piano player should be like in pain, like like emotion emotionally, like truly feel the music
Yeah,
and make it messy, sort of.
sure.
Maybe play classical music the way I don't know, blues pianist plays blues. Like,
It seems like they actually got happier, and I'm not sure if Beethoven got happier. I think it's a different kind of concept of the place of music.
mm,
Um, I think the blues, the whole African American tradition was initially surviving awful, awful circumstances. And you could say, there was some of that in the concentration camps and all that too. And it's not that Beethoven's circumstances were brilliant, but he kind of also, I don't know, this is hard. Like, I mean, it would seem to be his misery was somewhat self-imposed, maybe through. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like, I've known some people who loathed Beethoven, like the composer, late composer Pauline Oliveros,
mhm,
wonderful modernist composer. I played in her band for a while, and she was like, "Oh, Beethoven, like that's the worst music ever. It's like all ego. It turns information and I mean, it turns emotion into your enemy,
mhm.
and it's ultimately all about your own self-importance, which has to be at the expense of others. What else could it be? And blah blah blah. So she had. I shouldn't say. I don't mean it to be dismissive, but I'm just saying like her position on Beethoven was very negative and very unimpressed, which is really interesting for
The
me to
man
be
or the
around.
music? I'm
I think I don't know. I mean, she's not here to speak for herself, so it's a
yeah.
little hard for me to answer that question. But it was interesting because I'd always thought of Beethoven. It's like, whoa, this is like Beethoven is like really the dude, and she's like, Beethoven, Schmeethoven, it's like not really happening.
Yeah, I still, even though it's cliche, I like playing personally just for myself, Moonlight Sonata. I mean, I just um
Moonlight's amazing. I you're talking about comparing the blues and that sensibility from Europe is so different in so many ways. I One of the musicians I play with is John Batiste, who has the band on Colbert Show, and he'll sit there playing jazz and suddenly go into Moonlight. He loves Moonlight, and what's kind of interesting is he's found a way to do Beethoven, and by the way, he can really do Beethoven. Like he went through Juilliard, and one time he was
oh
at
wow.
one time he was at my house. He's saying, "Hey, do you have the book of Beethoven sonatas?" I say, "Yeah, I want to find one I haven't played." And he sight read through the whole damn thing
Oh wow.
perfectly, and I'm like, "Oh God, I just
Yeah.
like get out of here. I can't even deal with this." But anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, the thing is, he has this way of with the same persona and the same philosophy moving from the blues into Beethoven. That's really, really fascinating to me. It's like I don't want to say he plays it as if it were jazz, but he kind of does.
Yeah.
It's kind of really, and he talks, he was sight reading, he talks like Beethoven's talking to him. Like, he's like, oh yeah, here he's doing this. I can't do John, but it's like, it's really interesting. Like, it's very different. Like, for me, I was introduced to Beethoven as like almost like this godlike figure, and I presume Pauline was too. That was really kind of oppressive and hard to deal with. And for him, it's just like
It's a conversation
like
he's having.
He's playing James P. Johnson or something. It's like another musician who did something, and they're talking, and it's very cool to be around. It's very kind of freeing to see someone have that relationship.
I would love to hear him play Beethoven. That sounds amazing.
He's great.